Okay, welcome to my channel. My name is Rabbi Kass. I'm a sofer in Muncie, New York, and today I have a really exciting video to explain to you the difference between Rashi and Rabeinu Tam tefillin. So Rashi tefillin are the tefillin that every Jewish male over the age of bar mitzvah does wear or should wear, and that's the standard tefillin. That's the halacha, the tefillin that the halacha follows. And there's something called a Rabeinu Tam tefillin, and that's what's considered a stringency. Some people don't wear it, some people wear it after getting married, some people start wearing it after the age of 40, and some, even like in Chabad, they actually started wearing the tefillin, Rabeinu Tam, even after the age of bar mitzvah, and there's reasons for that also. We're not going to go into that right now. But, so what is Rabeinu Tam tefillin? Well, I think before I can really explain to you what are Rabeinu Tam tefillin, I think I first have to give a little bit background information of what are tefillin and what are Rashi tefillin. So I'm going to show you now a bias of the shel rosh of a tefillin. And if you can see in the camera, there's 4 compartments in the bias. Okay, this is the shin on the side, and here there's 4 compartments. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you look on the outside, you see the looks like the compartments there. If I open up, what you see inside is actually 4 compartments, 4 slots. And what that is actually inside the tefillin, when they're closed, you can't see, but the tefillin actually they do open like this. And inside here, we put special parshias from the Torah. Now, the reason why there's 4 compartments is because there's 4 parshias in the Torah that talk about the mitzvah of tefillin. What are they? You have Kaddish Li and B'hai K'viyacha, which are in Parshas Boy, and then you have Shema, which is in Ve'eschanan, and B'hai Mishemaya, which is in Ekev. Okay, so there's 4 parshias written in the Torah. And what these parshias say? Well, the first ones are talking about going out of Mitzrayim, going into Eretz Yisrael. Then Shema is talking about proclaiming our faith in Hashem, and B'hai Mishemaya, that is basically the way Judaism works. If we follow and we do the right things, we'll have the early rains, the late rains, all the blessings of God. If however, we bow down to foreign gods, then Machara Af Hashem, then not such great things will happen. So that's and each one of these paragraphs, Hashem says, take these words and wear them as a sign upon your arm and as a reminder between your eyes. So we do that. We write the parsha, the text from the parsha on the klaf, and it's put inside the tefillin. So here's the head tefillin. You have all 4 compartments here. 4 parshios go inside the tefillin. Now the hand tefillin is made a little bit different. I'm going to show you actually. I do have one over here. Here's a shel yad. Shel yad does not have the lines, because when you open up the shel yad, you see it's just 1 compartment in there. So let me show you something. This would be an example of a shel rosh parsha. This is just 1 parsha. It's 1 section that's folded and put inside of the tefillin. Okay, you can see how it's folded because it goes inside of the shel rosh. The shel yad, on the other hand, if you look at this, you'll see it's much longer, and you'll see there's 4 sections on 1 long piece of parchment. Okay, so it's rolled and it's put inside the shel yad, inside the tefillin. I'm afraid if I explain why they're different, it might take too long. I think I'll have to make another video more explaining tefillin, why the shel rosh and the shel yad are different. But suffice it to say, the shel yad and the shel rosh both have all 4 sections from the Torah that talk about the mitzvah, that mention the mitzvah of tefillin, and that's why we write them, we put them inside the boxes, we wear them on our arm and on our head between our eyes as a reminder. Like I like to tell some people, I say, before we had smartphones and ways to remind us to do things, we used to tie a string around our finger. So the tefillin is a reminder every single day of connecting to God and staying conscious, having the awareness of God and on the top of our mind. So wearing it, Hashem wants us to remember these important essential sections from the Torah, which are going out of Egypt, becoming a nation, a Jewish nation, Shema and B'hai Mishemaya are very important. Constantly have to remember and keep it on top of our mind. Okay, so that's what tefillin is in a nutshell. Now, what is the difference between Rashi and Rabeinu Tam? So this is the difference right now. I'll explain to you right here. This is a pair of Rashi Tefillin, right? So if this is a pair of Rashi Tefillin, the order of the parshias go like this. Kaddish Li will go here. V'haya Kiviyacha, which is the second parsha in the Torah, meaning the order that the parshios are written in and the way they go into the batim are the order that they come about in the Torah. So Parshas Bo is before Ve'eschanan, which Eschanan is before Ekev. The first one here is Kaddish Li. The second compartment here is going to be V'haya Kiviyacha. Then here's Shema. Then here's V'haya Im Shemaya. Okay? Now, this is the order that they come about in the Torah. One second. Okay, so that's Rashi. Now, Rabbeinu Tam is going to be like this. Rabbeinu Tam is this and this doesn't change. So you have Kaddish Li, V'haya Kiviyacha. But instead of having Shema over here, V'haya Im Shemaya is going to go here. And then Shema goes over here. So these two are the same. And these two are swapped. Now, why is that? Why does Rashi hold different than Rabbeinu Tam? So, if you want to understand it, you really got to learn the Gemara. So, if you learn the Gemara, and the argument between Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam basically is a machlekes on how do you interpret the words of the Brisa. So, if you learn the Gemara, it brings on a Brisa over there, and it says that, and I should have looked it up, but I didn't. It says that the lashon, I think, is something to the effect of Kaddish v'haya kiviyacha miyamin, and Shema v'haya mishemaya is mismo. So if you look in Rashi, Rashi just understands it logically, like, yeah, Kaddish and V'haya Kiviyacha are on the right, and Shema and V'haya Shemaya are mismo, right? Mismo, not my left, your left. You're looking at it from what's called Yamin HaKaira. You're reading it, so it's on your left, okay? Mismo, so here's on the left. So that's how Rashi understands it. But if you look into Taisus has a kasha on the lashon of the Brisa. The Taisva says there's extra words over there. If the intention of the Brisa was that it's Kaddish Li, V'haya Kiviyacha on the right, and Shema V'haya Shemaya, just to go in the Seder of the Torah, it would just the order that it comes about in the Torah, it would just say, Kaddish and V'haya Kiviyacha Miyamin, and then continue going in the order. Why does it say Shema and V'haya Shemaya mismo? It seems like it's an extra word, and it seems like more direct, that not that it's just this is the right and that's the left, but that it actually starts from the left. So instead of Shema being here, Shema mismo. So Shema will start from the left. Okay, so Taisus doesn't like the lashon that the Brisa uses, the way Rashi interprets it. Taisus doesn't has a problem with that. So that's why Taisus holds no. He says the Seder the parsha goes the other way. Kaddish Li V'haya Kiviyacha miyamin, and Shema V'haya Shemaya mismo, not on the left side, but mismo. It starts from the left. So Shema is here, and V'haya Shemaya will be right over here. So this machlekes between Rashi and Rabeinu Tam, it's not just in the Shel Rosh, it's also in the Shel Yad. So the same way there's a different order between Shema and V'haya Shemaya in the Shel Rosh, how they're put in different orders in the boxes, in the compartments, actually, I should say. The same thing with the Shel Yad, they're written in a different order. So, well, actually, not written in a different order, they are placed in a different order. That's more accurately said. Whenever we write the Tefillin, it's always being written in the Seder of Kaddish, V'haya Kiviyacha, Shema, and V'haya Shemaya. That's the order that it's written in. The only difference, the machlekes, is where it's placed. How is it placed in the Tefillin, and how is it placed on the parchment. So I'm going to show you now an example of, let's say, Rashi. This is a Shel Yad of Rashi. You can see here how it's Shema, and then V'haya Im Shemaya. That's Rashi. But now if I show you a Rabbeinu Tam Shel Yad, you'll see the difference right now. You see the second to last parsha is V'haya Shemaya, and then comes over here, Shema. Now, actually, like I said, the parashas are still written in the same order. So when the Sefer is writing a Shel Yad, which is all written on one cloth, what he does is after he writes V'haya Kiviyacha, the Sefer actually leaves a blank space. So he'll leave this spot of the parchment blank, and then write Shema over here all the way at the end, and then go back and right behind it Mishmaya, because they have to be written in the order that they come about in the Torah, but how are they placed on the parchment and how are they placed in the bottom, that's the difference. Okay, so just you have to understand that the same difference of the order that there is in the Shalosh also is in the Shel Yad. So once I'm on the subject between Rashi, explaining the difference between Rashi and Rabeinu Tam, I also want to explain the difference between, if you ever heard of the tefillin called Shimusha Rabba and Raved. So what are Shimusha Rabba and Raved, and how are they different than Rashi and Rabeinu Tam? So Rashi and Rabeinu Tam, their disagreement, they're both looking at the tefillin what's called the Yamin HaKaira. So imagine you, the viewers, watching me coming from this direction. It's called Yamin HaKaira, but the Raved and Shimusha Rabba, they basically have the same argument as Rashi and Rabeinu Tam, but they're arguing from what's called from the maniach, the person who's wearing the tefillin. Okay, if the Torah was open in front of me, and how do you determine right from left? So if the Torah is facing you, right, or if the Torah is facing me, that direction is going to change. So if I'm wearing the tefillin on my head, and you're looking at me, so their argument is Yamin HaKaira. Where's the beginning? It's going to be going this way, from right to left. Okay, Yamin HaKaira, because you're reading the parashas on the tefillin, so it starts here and it goes. The Shimusha Rabba and Raved, their disagreement is basically the same as Rashi and Rabeinu Tam. And Shimusha Rabba holds the same shit as Rashi. He holds like Rashi that the same seder as Rashi, rather I should say. But their argument is not Yamin HaKaira, as if you're reading the parashas as if they were written in the Torah in that order, but it's actually Yamin HaManiach. So not from the reader's perspective, but from the person who's wearing its perspective. So then it's going to start from the other side, and then when it comes to the last two parashas, the Machlekes Shimusha Rabba and Raved is going to swap the same way it does by Rashi and Rabeinu Tam. Rashi, Shimusha Rabba, they both have like a shin sound in it. That's the hint that I use for myself to help explain, to help myself remember. And so I hope this was clear to you, and if it was, then like, subscribe. The more subscribers, the more encouraged I am, the more I realize the importance of making these videos. So like, share, and subscribe.